So the Carolina Panthers are picking 6 in the first round. I've seen some people, notably Josh Norris, friend of the pod, the most of Underdog Fantasy, the most accurate mock drafter, I believe, in the history of mock drafts last year. Like the single most accurate mock draft ever done, like a 59 score on Huddle Report. Josh was like slamming champagne on a live stream to celebrate it. An all around great dude. He's the only person I've seen, and he knows the Panthers very well. Although I'm not sure, just like myself, I'm not sure how it's as tied into this current regime he is versus the previous one, or the previous two, I suppose. The Panthers are picking 6. He actually had him take an offensive lineman instead of a quarterback. That would probably be the prudent thing to do, Josh. But you know what? The Panthers don't seem like a prudent team to me, and I would expect that they're going to take a quarterback at 6 overall, which is definitely a need and probably their top need, even if it doesn't fit with the draft class and sort of like where the prospects are.
Yeah, it certainly seems like that's where the quarterback run could begin, unless a team is going to trade up to number 5 or earlier to get one of these quarterbacks. Just outwardly, I think Carolina needs to be more self-aware about where they are in the process and draft an offensive lineman, should there be a quality prospect available, of course. But it does feel like they're going to take a quarterback, and then the two options are Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh and Malik Willis from Liberty. And we've had this discussion as well. Are there going to be differing opinions inside that Carolina war room on draft night? Because you have Scott Fitterer, the general manager who comes from Seattle, has been around Russell Wilson for most of his career. So, maybe he values a more mobile quarterback that's, going to be able to launch it downfield. Whereas Matt Rule has shown that he values relationships, and he held a commitment from Kenny Pickett when he was at Temple before he went to Baylor. And then, of course, ownership, David Tepper is a huge donor of the Pittsburgh program. So there's a lot of connections, a lot of relationships there that maybe lend you to believe that it's going to be Kenny Pickett, but then maybe the general manager wants it to be Malik Willis. So I think they're going to be one of the more interesting teams in this draft class, because if they're going to do what we all assume they do and take a quarterback, then it's going to bring on this discussion of, was it a unanimous decision, or is there going to be some discourse that we monitor this upcoming season? So I think those are probably the two options that the Panthers are struggling with right now in the draft process.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are in such a bad spot. Like, regardless of what they do, it's going to look bad from a different angle. That what Josh has outlined, if it's Malik Willis, there'll be talk like, hey, why would they pick someone that's not really ready? They need to win now. Matt Rule's on the hot seat. And then, like you mentioned, maybe the ownership and the coach didn't really want Malik Willis. If they go Kenny Pickett at 6, I think everyone, even the people that really like Kenny Pickett, will think, hey, this is too early. They just did it because of the Pittsburgh connection and the Temple connection. This is a reach. This is Daniel Jones 2.0 going at the same selection as Daniel Jones. And then if they go offensive tackle, which I do think one of Charles Cross, Ike Ekwonu, or Evan Neal will be available, it'll be like, how did they not pick a quarterback? They can't roll out Sam Darnold or PJ Walker in week 1. So Matt Rule's kind of done it to himself, but I really don't see a scenario in which, with that number 6 overall selection, the Panthers come out of it looking good. I mean, of course, if one of the quarterbacks becomes good, then I think we won't ever really talk about this anymore. But on draft night, like afterward and the next day, there's just going to be criticism on whatever the Panthers do if they go quarterback or they go offensive tackle. Their two biggest needs.
Chili Pepper, Joakim Neiman just hold out. That's what happened, if you're wondering. But,
yeah, everybody just saw live.
It's an eagle, right? Not an albatross, I think, right? It was a par 4.
I didn't see what happened before that. I just realized that you were like 5 seconds ahead of me on the screen because I saw your expression. I was like, oh, something good's about to happen. And I look over just in time to see it. So, that was
it was an eagle hole out on 9. So it's pretty cool coming up to the clubhouse on 9. I don't care. Whatever. It's a Masters week. We're talking about the Masters here. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Josh. With the screw. You know what? We should just cancel the Panthers. The Panthers are the least. Like, they're just obviously going to do something stupid at 6. There's no way in hell. And the worst part is, there's going to be one of those offensive linemen there. Like Ike or Neal are going to be sitting there at 6. The most prudent franchise building thing you could possibly do if you're the Panthers is to draft a left tackle and dive into the crevasse with Sam Darnold. Go deeper into the darkness dive further, submerge yourself into the pain that would be 2022 is Sam Darnold and a rookie left tackle. And you'll come out with the first overall pick, and you can and you can draft. I don't know, Bryce Young, Devin Leary, CJ Stroud, whoever you want to draft. But the problem is, if you take Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, you know what? There's a pretty good chance you're going to have the number 1 overall pick anyway. And then you're not going to be able to take one of those guys. So Panthers, please, I beg of you, don't draft a quarterback at 6. Narrator, Josh, they drafted a quarterback at 6.
Is their next pick at 137 too? Is that correct? I know
yeah,
they don't have a
okay.
second, so yeah. I don't think they have a third either, do they? Did they trade out of that as well?
Probably. They're terrible. I would not want to be a Panthers fan at this current moment in time. Anything else to add? I don't care. Let's move on for them. I almost just start talking about golf instead of talking about the Panthers.